Good morning. Happy Tuesday. So, my impression of Arcy up until this point has been that he is probably a very solid attorney who does almost exclusively state law practice, i.e. in state courts, and is probably very good in the areas that he practices in. Not necessarily like world class, but a good, competent attorney who knows what he's doing and is going to produce a good product for his client. That has been my impression. My impression has been that I would not have hesitated, well, I still probably wouldn't hesitate in sending clients to him if I felt that their needs matched his areas of practice. Now, yesterday, as I'm sure everybody is aware, Arcy filed an amicus brief in the copyright case for DMA and Fraud or Troll. Cordova versus Hinault. And I'm probably saying Hinault wrong, but, sue me. And I was gobsmacked. I was gobsmacked by it. I was shocked. My initial reaction was, oh no, Patrick, oh no. Why would you do this? And my reaction is still, oh no, why would you do this? And I've thought about it quite a bit, meditated on it. It hasn't consumed all of my time, but I've been trying to figure out why he would do it. So an amicus brief isn't just, I want to talk shit about the attorney for the other side. It isn't about seeking relief. An amicus brief typically is where, oddly enough, Stout used it much more correctly than Darcy did. Arcy. It's where you're trying to give the court more background, more case law. So, for example, a common one that you'll see is like in a case where someone is suing a state over gun restrictions in federal court for violating the Second Amendment, and the NRA will file an amicus brief because their lawyers deal with this case law all the time, this body of case law. They're familiar with how other districts have handled it. They're familiar with how other states have handled it. And they're able to write a brief that gives the court more insight on the actual topic at hand, i.e. the Second Amendment cause of action. Not cause of action, but you get what I'm saying. So that's typically how it's used. What Arcy did is, I'm still just gobsmacked. My initial reaction is that he's doing this more for advertising purposes for himself than actually expecting the court to offer any of the relief that he's requesting. I mean, there's never no chance that a court will do something because courts make mistakes all the time, but I would be shocked, given the general level of competency exhibited by federal judges and magistrates, I would be shocked if this wasn't summarily denied by the court. I would be shocked. There are two things that he has alleged in there which might give the court pause, that being the potential for poisoning the jury and witness intimidation. Those two things, just the general topics themselves, might have some bearing on this case. Now, what Arcy put forward has no bearing on the case, and let's consider like the relevant California's rules kind of reflect the ADA's rules for professional responsibility. and I'm going to paraphrase it here. I haven't looked it up in a long time, but as long as the counsel isn't saying something that has a substantial likelihood, I believe is the correct phrase, of essentially improperly impacting the litigation, then the trial counsel can say it. And there's also some other things where the trial counsel is like supposed to say things like setting out the facts and positions of his client's case. So, and there's leeway granted in there. Counsel have a First Amendment right to talk about their case. And the court can exercise some control over it, but it is a very limited control where there has to be a showing that there is a substantial likelihood, not a possibility, not even a probability, but a substantial likelihood that that discussing it in the way that counsel's doing is going to actually impact the case. And if Darcy had presented credible evidence of this, then maybe the court would consider it, but he doesn't. I mean, first of all, DMA's channel gets like 100 views. And let's just say like DMA's channel. Like if the DMCA lawyer goes on DMA's channel and DMA has like 450,000, that's spread all over the world. I mean, sure, most of it's going to be in the US, but that's still spread out all over the world. But let's just say it's over 50 states. And each of those 50 states has, how many citizens, how many people from the Northern District of California are going to see this. And now think about this. Think about all the times that you've seen attorneys give press briefings to all the local news outlets plus national outlets in front of the courthouse where they give interviews and compare and contrast how much effect locally, how much effect on that actual jury pool is are Randall's comments actually going to affect a jury pool? Is there a substantial likelihood that they're not going to be able to get an unbiased jury out of that? The answer is no. Most people, this community is very niche. First, that's just first, very niche. And second of all, there's just not enough eyes on any of this stuff to even matter. The other thing is witness tampering, but how can you do that? DMA hasn't put forward a witness list. There has been no, Rule 26 meet and confer? Or 29, I forget which, I'm not. Anyway, but there have been no witnesses identified. What witness is he tampering with? What witness is he intimidating? What is in front of the court is a copyright case. I don't think you're going to need witnesses. I mean, here's the video that he did. Here's my client's video. You can look, and the court can make a determination whether or not it's fair use, blah, blah, blah. But this is not a witness intensive case. So neither of the two things that have any potential actual teeth have been supported in any way that is relevant or credible or should give the court pause to think there's a substantial likelihood of an issue here. I mean, there's nothing there, and all the rest of it is just garbage. Like, Arcy put his butthurt on display. He's really mad. He's really upset. And congratulations, you're really mad and you're really upset. But none of the things he's asking for, the court is going to get involved in. I would be blown away. My world would be shattered. I mean, I'm not saying there's no chance. There's always a chance, but the chance is so remote that I can't even fathom it, that a court is going to get involved and give him all the relief requested, or even any of it. Even on the two that, in theory, if you could support, would have some merit. I'm just shocked. So does he know something I don't know? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, he probably knows lots of things that I don't know, but on this amicus, again, the only thing I could think he's doing is advertising. And there's also the possibility that he's using this to. There's a thing called the litigation privilege. You could talk mad shit about someone as long as you're doing it in the context of a court case. And so maybe the litigation privilege is something that he's looking to be able to talk shit about Randall and not have to worry about a defamation lawsuit. Maybe. I mean, but none of it just doesn't, like, it just doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Literally Stout had amicus briefs that were more on point, that had more merit. Stout's amicus briefs had more merit. He misunderstood the law, and he misunderstood how to apply it, and all sorts of other nonsense, but literally Stout's amicus briefs had more viability than this does. You're like, oh, you're just trying to shit on Darcy. No, like, I give my unbiased opinion, and like, I looked for it. I didn't spend too much time on it because you could tell kind of at a glance that, like, there's no teeth here. There's nothing here. So essentially what Arcy did is he offered Randall a giant sign that said, come fuck me in the ass, basically. Like, if Randall is the competent but not great attorney that I think he is, he's going to be able to shit all over this. And a little birdie told me that on August 8th, in a video, Darcy said something along the lines where he was going to make this costly, and he was going to, the litigation, and he was going to basically try to throw monkey wrenches into the works. Now, if true, I haven't watched the video, so, don't at me, bro, if it didn't say that. This is just what a little bird told me. But if true, that would give some serious teeth to a Rule 11 sanction. If you file something for the purposement of harassment, delay, etc., for improper purpose, filing a pleading for an improper purpose, you can be subject to sanctions. The court may sanction you, and the court may bring that Rule 11 sua sponte. They might issue an order to show cause as to why they shouldn't issue the Rule 11 sanctions. They can bring it on, like Randall could request that relief in a motion. But this is like, I never bet on a court actually sanctioning an attorney. It is somewhat rare. I mean, it, generally speaking, in my experience, has to be something pretty egregious for a court to actually step in and sanction an attorney. But it is a possibility. It is a possibility. So none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. So if the court doesn't just kick it on its own, which the court very well may before Randall even gets a chance to respond, if he's going to respond, then if the court doesn't kick it on its own, I assume Randall's going to respond. I would not let this go unresponded. I think it would be a mistake if Randall does not respond. And the court, I just can't see a way. I just can't see any legal rationale for the court to grant the amicus motion to be amicus to start with, and the odds go downhill from there to actually granting any of the requested relief in the amicus brief. He's treating this as essentially a motion. He's treating his motion to file an amicus brief as a motion seeking other relief, and like, that's not the way it works. You're not a party to this. You're not a party to this. You're not counsel representing a party. You specifically state in there that you're not representing any parties. But you kind of are. I mean, you kind of are. Like, I can see a court saying, no, you're kind of representing this person because you're advocating on their behalf. You're asking for relief specifically related to them. You kind of are. I can see that. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I can see it. I can see a court saying that. The whole brief is like, I see this in family law a lot. There's a lot of family law attorneys who don't really know the family code and they don't really know the cases, and they just kind of have an understanding of how the system works, how the process goes. And they know that if they ask for this in this kind of way, they'll, generally speaking, get the outcome they want. And I see this a lot in family law where they'll just like throw all the shit at the wall and see what sticks to it and hope that the court, because family law is an equity court, the court like says, okay, from this little section of shit here, I can actually take this and apply this law to it and give you some or all of the relief that you're requesting, even though the attorney didn't really know what they were asking for or how to ask for it. But we're not in a court of equity. This isn't a court of equity at this point. Copyright is a court of law. I guess there is some equitable relief that they're looking for there, but I don't see how the court is going to be looking at this as an equitable kind of thing. An amicus brief, I don't know that the court's going to look at it that way. I don't know that the court is going to give Darcy the benefit of the doubt, because like there's nothing about copyright law in there. The court isn't going to learn anything from having Arcy be an amicus in this case. Darcy himself essentially concedes that he doesn't know anything about copyright, because when people came to him about copyright, he told them to go find a copyright attorney. In his brief, he says this. So he doesn't know anything about copyright. What's he going to teach the court? How to spank Randall? Just so weird. And then I know a lot of people in my Discord were going on and on about the discussion of Darcy's religious experience in his brief, which, why would you put that in there? I don't know. None of it makes sense. But I was more taken aback by him accusing Randall of being anti-Semitic. A New York Jewish lawyer, Randall Newman, this may shock everybody, but he's a Jewish lawyer from New York. Never saw that coming, I know. Shocking. I don't know how anybody didn't know that. But a Jewish lawyer from New York accuses another Jew, Cohen, last name Cohen, he's a Jew. A Jewish lawyer accuses another Jew of being Jewy. Antisemitism. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? If there ever was a reach for it's almost as bad as me saying we shouldn't be sending our money to any foreign countries, and people be like, you're just anti-Semitic because you don't want to send money to Israel. No, I don't want to send money to any foreign country, period. You're anti-Semitic. Well, one Jew saying another Jew is acting Jewy is apparently also anti-Semitic. Like, what is it anti-Semitic at this point? You tied your shoes, anti-Semitism. Fucking stupid. Oh, fucking stupid. A Jew saying another Jew is acting Jewy is anti-Semitism. Is acting Jewy? Is that an insult? Just out of curiosity. Like, is saying that someone is acting Jewy an insult? If you said like, hey John, you're acting pretty white today, I'd be like, okay, sweet, I'll take that as a compliment. But Darcy's position, the defender of the Jewish faith, white as the driven snow, Patrick J. Arcy, is saying that it's anti-Semitic to tell a Jew, for one Jew, to tell another Jew that he's acting Jewy. What are your real feelings about Jews, Patrick? How do you really feel? Oh, Jesus. It's all just nonsense. It's all nonsense. So Patrick handed RSN an easy win. There's no out for this where Patrick looks good, where he looks competent. The internet is forever. Boomer Patrick to Arcy shit the bed. Like there's no recovery for this. People will forget in time, but I'll remember. Randall will remember. Like, you thought this was going to stop people from making fun of you, Arcy? Like, bro, you open the floodgates. Like, this, you shit the bed, dude. You shit the bed. Whew. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.